Your nightly news with Rachel Williams begins now.
Good evening, everyone. Tasmania's multi-million-dollar housing debt is set to be wiped, with the federal government relieving the state of its historic burden. The community sector has welcomed the news, but remains cautious about the finer detail.
It's no secret Tasmania's housing situation is at crisis point. Its severity prompting an emergency housing summit and inquiry. Finally, the historic housing debt, which burdens us around $15 million a year, mostly in interest, will be wiped.
This is an important turning point for Tasmania and its ability to provide homes for people who really need them.
The deal brokered by Senator Jackie Lambie, whose support was secured in exchange for her crucial vote on controversial tax cuts.
Tassie has a $157 million housing debt. It means we have to give back half the money we get to spend on shelter for the homeless every year.
Now calls for the money to be injected where it's needed most.
They still need to put more money into stock. So even though this is an important first step, we see that there's a lot more investment that's needed. But we think it's a great step forward and we're really looking forward to hearing what will come.
Waiting with bated breath for the devil in the detail.
So we'll be looking to ensure there's no giving with one hand and taking with the other.
While this announcement could potentially be groundbreaking and change the lives of thousands of Tasmanians, the state government has chosen to not front the cameras today, instead providing an audio grab and a statement. They're saving the formalities for tomorrow, when state and federal ministers will stand side by side to sign what could be an historic deal for the state. Louise Hedger, 7 Tasmania News.
Police say there are now no suspicious circumstances surrounding the sudden death of a Hadsman man. Officers were called to a unit at the Rutherglen village yesterday afternoon, where they found the body of the 65-year-old. A report will be prepared for the coroner. Investigators are yet to determine the cause of a blaze that destroyed a home in Snug yesterday. Fire crews managed to save a restaurant after smoke and flames billowed out of an adjoining unit. The inferno left an estimated damage bill of $450,000. The state's drought-stricken east coast has received a drenching, with some areas recording more than 80 millimetres of rain. Grey received the biggest downpour with more than 160 mils in 24 hours, while St Helens recorded 82 mils. The State Emergency Service responded to 6 requests for assistance overnight. Most call-outs were for minor flooding and fallen trees. The rain also impacted flights, causing delays at Hobart Airport today. The Greens say more needs to be done by the government to protect Tasmania's threatened species. Today marks National Threatened Species Day, which is the same day the last Tasmanian tiger died in the 1930s. The state government says it is delivering programs to assist in the survival of threatened species, including the Tasmanian devil and the orange-bellied parrot. Dozens of firefighters were called to a primary school in Devonport this morning, but despite the hoses being out and the pressure on, there wasn't a fire to be seen.
Roll up for the Battle of the Brigades. Take it from those who know, sprinting with an armful of hose isn't easy.
It is much harder than it looks. A lot of people say bowling a hose is simple, but to get the hose to go straight is a task.
16 stations from across the northwest are all aiming for glory. The mission is to link the hoses and pumps to hit the target against a racing clock. Most of the challengers are young volunteers and cadets. They've already made a good impression on the seniors.
Well, these kids would run rings around me. They're very good, yeah.
Numbers have dwindled slightly at this year's event, and organisers are looking for new ways to get kids involved. As for the best brigade on the coast...
Debatable. Devonport's been the team to beat the last couple of years, but looking out there today, there's a lot of teams that will give us a run for our money.
The big winner will be crowned at the statewide championships in Launceston this November. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
Hundreds of young brainiacs have put their minds to the test for the annual Tournament of the Minds competition in Hobart. Students travelling from across the state to take part in a range of challenges across different disciplines.
Set the scene. They inspire children to be creative and to use, not everyday thinking, but creative strategies that are a bit outside of the box.
The winners will compete against international winners at the final event to be hosted in Hobart in October.
The TSL first then, Glenorchy's 2019 premiership dream has been shattered by Launceston at KG5 today. The Pies were never in it on the scoreboard, with 6 goals from Dylan Riley helping the Blues book a spot next weekend's prelim final thanks to an easy 60-point win. With the rain bucketing down on KG5, the stage was set for a scrappy affair, with both sides getting off the mark early on the scoreboard. Some heavy pressure from the visitors, setting them up for their second of the day, as Dylan Riley made sure of it. And with the momentum in their favour, the Blues continued to boot away, making life difficult for Glenorchy, who struggled to capitalise in front of the sticks. Things going from bad to worse for the Pies, as the visitors exerted their dominance on the match, keeping the home side to just 14 points by three-quarter time. And with Launceston up by 6 goals, the final quarter proved a mere formality for the Blues, as the side booked a spot in next weekend's preliminary final against the loser of tomorrow's clash between Lauderdale and North Launceston. Meantime, Lilydale have run out the convincing winners over St Pat's in today's NTFA Division 1 Grand Final. The Premiers were dominant right from the opening bounce at Windsor Park, taking a handy 29-point lead into half-time. And with St Pat's struggling to find a spark, Lilydale made them pay, slotting 7 second-half majors to clinch the 2019 flag with a cruisy 49-point win. And the Derwent Hockey Club are the 2019 Women's Premier League champions, following a hard-fought win over fierce rivals OHA at the Tasmanian Hockey Centre today. The sides came out firing despite the miserable conditions, putting on 2 goals each in an exciting first quarter of play. The more heavily favoured Derwent gaining a 1-goal edge heading into half-time, with the side eventually coming away with the 5-4 win.
Hello, welcome back. 10 degrees today in Hobart. Launceston had a top of 12, 13 for Burnie, with 14 degrees the state's top in Devonport. Across the state, 13 degrees for Smithton, Wynyard and Strawn, 12 at Low Head, Bushy Park and King Island, 11 degrees for Ouse and Grove, with 10 degrees the top for Scottsdale, St Helens and Campania, with 9 for Fingal. Extensive cloud on the charts over Tasmania today. Further out, a band of cloud spirals around a low off the New South Wales coast. A frontal band lies off southern WA to the central bight, with low cloud over Victoria. Tomorrow shows a low pressure system over the Tasman, with a front close to the west of the state. A high over southern WA, and South Australia extends a ridge into New South Wales and southern Queensland. Southeast to southwesterly winds 10 to 20 knots tomorrow, shifting westerly from late morning, tending southwesterly 20 to 30 knots from the west later, with lighter conditions through the east, seas between 1 and 2 metres, rising in the west later. There's a few warnings: a strong wind warning for northern and western coastal waters, a moderate flood warning for the South Esk, and a minor flood warning for the North Esk. Showers developing later through the south tomorrow, 15 in Hobart and Ouse, Richmond 16 degrees. Showers for the north, 15 in Launceston, 13 degrees in Devonport and Deloraine, 13 for Burnie and Curry, with a top of 12 degrees expected at Strawn, with rain and showers, and 14 degrees for St Helens, Swansea and Whitemark. Showers contracting to the west, the south and the central parts on Monday. Tuesday brings showers about the west and the south, easing later, with showers about the west on Wednesday, with possible showers throughout the northeast. Around Australia tomorrow, 25 and sunny in Perth, 16 and showers for Adelaide, 14 in Melbourne and Canberra, 20 in Sydney, with 25 at the top, a sunny day in Brisbane and 30 for Cairns. Cloudy evening across the state tonight, 8 degrees in Hobart, 9 for Launceston and 11 in Devonport. Back to you, Rach.
Wonderful. Thanks for that, Sam. That's all your news for now. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy the footy. Good night.